Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing the definitive list of the teams that can win the national championship. I don't think it's that many this season. I'm really looking down the list, and I think it's about, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. I don't think it's that many, but there's a few on here I'll talk about with potential to do so. But we'll start off right here. Number one, it's Texas. Texas, it's pretty self-explanatory. They return a lot of production. Baxter is back, the running back. He's going to pair up with Contravian Wisner. Jadon Blue went to the league, but Baxter was the starting running back last year until he got hurt, so he'll be back for sure. Arch Manning, elite defense, skill guys all over the place. Basically, what I want when I'm looking at a team I think can win the national championship, a good defense, a game-changing quarterback, elite skill positions, solid trenches, and a really good defense, and usually a very experienced coach, if not coordinator. So there's a couple factors that go into it. Texas is one of those teams, they tick off almost every box. The next team for sure, Penn State. Now, I'll probably spend a little bit longer on Penn State than a lot of other teams. I understand why some people think that there's no chance that they'll be able to do this, but I think that they tick almost every box that I mentioned. When you look at how they've changed their team from top to bottom, they've brought in a lot of elite skill position guys and receivers. Those are the guys you needed. They've always had a good defense. They've always had a good defensive coordinator. They upgraded actually to Jim Knowles, even more better than that. They have a game-changing quarterback, potentially adjacent with Drew Aller. I know he's not as good as years past quarterbacks that have been game changers, but I think we're at the good enough stage with him. Katron Allen, Nick Singleton, unreal running backs. Again, you have Luke Reynolds at tight end, stepping into Warren's role pretty well, probably. Good offensive line, defensive line. We talked about that. Cold Nicky, good offensive coordinator. Now, I know James Franklin can't win the big game. A lot of coaches can't until they can, if that makes any sense. Like Jim Harbaugh couldn't until he did. I think that this could be the year that they do, because if it's not, then he's going to be gone. That simple. Ohio State. Yeah, they have a bad quarterback in years past. Yeah, their trenches are as questionable as they've been in a long time. But look, dude, it's Ohio State. They recruit themselves. They do everything they need to do from the top to the bottom. They brought in some good coordinators. I'm not as low as Patricia as everyone else is. I mean, you look at what happened with Wink Martindale. He was terrible in the NFL and ended up being a very good coordinator for Michigan. It's that simple. Like, Michigan fans obviously want him to be bad because of what he did to the Lions. I get it. But you have to be able to separate the two and talk about what's going to happen going down the line. Plus, they got the best football player in football, Jeremiah Smith, on offense. They've got, Carnell Tate. The running backs stink, whatever. They got Ennis, whatever he is. Max Clare, good tight end finally. First time in a long time Ohio State's had a legit tight end. Just coordinators are a bit of a question mark. Ryan Day, obviously question mark as a coach against Michigan, but everybody on the team he seemingly beats. So I think that there's a potential for them to run it back, but I'm not totally sure. Clemson. Now, I've talked about them a lot already. There's a video on the channel about Clemson. I'll try to link at the end if I remember. I think they win the ACC. I think they could potentially win the title game. Cade Klubnik is probably my favorite quarterback in the country. I think he could win the Heisman potentially. It's definitely a possibility, but top to bottom, they've got a lot of elite skill guys as well. They lost Maffa, but they have a couple good running backs there as well. Lost their tight end Burning Stool, got another one that they brought in, and a few other receivers. The receivers are actually pretty good, getting closer to what Clemson used to be on receivers. Defense is unbelievable. They've got the edge kid. I think it's Parker, who everyone's talking about potentially being a top few guys off the board draft pick, kind of like what Abdul Carter was last season. So, again, they check a lot of boxes there. Venables, obviously he left. They brought in Tom Allen over from Penn State, so another elite defensive coordinator. I don't care what you said about him last year, guys, an elite coordinator. Dabo Swinney clearly is a good enough head coach. Even started to let some transfers in, so at least he knows that he's got some things he's got to step up to and increase in terms of that. So he's some self-reflection, and they also have Garrett Riley as the OC. He's now fully kind of implemented what he's been trying to do in his game plan going on now. So that's those first four. Now, the next team I think that's got a pretty good shot is Oregon. Now, Dan Lanning is kind of whatever. The coordinators are kind of whatever, in my opinion. Obviously, Dillingham and a few other guys have come through there. They've had some good in the past, but they've been recruiting like an SEC team for a while now. They've got a lot of very elite skill players, a lot of very elite defenders. Dante Moore. My hands are tied as a Michigan kid. I got to root for any kid from Michigan or Detroit, especially. I got to root for. It's just kind of how I am as a person. So Dante Moore, I think he'll be good. You've got Malachi Hughes, one of the better running backs in the country down there. Evan Stewart's hurt. You lost, what's it called? You lost Tez Johnson to the league. A few other guys in the years past. You bring in Decorian Moore, who's unreal. And I'm sure we'll see that pretty soon. So I think Oregon has a really good shot next year. I think this year is not as much, but to me, they hit most of the things you need to hit for them to be there. LSU 14-1. I think that they could do it. Nussmeier's unbelievable. They've got a lot of skill guys. Harlan Berry, another running back coming in. That's a good young kid, freshman. A lot of talent all over the defensive line, the defensive front, just all over. You've got Pickett, the 5-star corner, littered 5 stars everywhere. Enough talent to get what you need out of those guys. Their defense was totally improved, bringing that Missouri guy a couple years ago. I think it might have been last year they brought him in. So it's a very improved defense over the last few years. The offense is the offense at LSU. It's usually nothing you got to worry about. Brian Kelly, terrible guy, but good coach, right? I mean, I hate to say as a Michigan fan, but he's a good coach. He wins a lot of big games. He does a lot of good stuff. He is on the hot seat, so he needs this more than a lot of people do. But I think that they have the potential to win the title. I don't think they will, but they have them in that second tier with Oregon. And then I've got the Flyers at the bottom here. Michigan, 28-1. I've been over Michigan enough. If Bryce Underwood plays at the level he needs to play with that elite defense and the improved run game and the improved O-line, if the O-line and the quarterback play out of their minds, Michigan has a chance to really make some crazy noise. But we'll move on from that. Last one's Florida. Okay. Very similar to LSU, which I know probably sounds crazy, but they've got skill guys littered everywhere. They've got a bunch of elite guys everywhere. And DJ Lagway is going to be great. I'm not as high as him as others are, but I still think he's going to be pretty darn good. People are talking about him being in the Heisman race. I don't know about all that, but there's a world where it does happen. You do get that breakthrough from him, and he goes on some crazy run. I mean, we've seen it with Joe Burrow before. I'm not comparing him to Joe Burrow. Please do not think that. What I'm trying to say is you've seen these monumental leaps from quarterbacks, and he's got a hell of a lot more talent than Joe Burrow did at the time. So he's another guy you could potentially see it. So my list right now is Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, and then a cutoff of Georgia, LSU, that next tier, potential crazy flyers, Florida, Michigan. Another potential Florida crazy flyer is another team in Florida, is Miami of Florida. 40-1, crazy odds. I think that there's a chance. They've got a lot of guys, got a lot of things you need there. Carson Beck is good enough. I think we're going to have this revisionist history on Carson Beck where people think he stinks like a lot. He's not the best, but he's still very serviceable. And Georgia led the country in drops last year. That's not on him, right? That's on his receivers. So that alone, he's better than people think. He's got a lot of resources they've put in all over the place, similar to some of the other teams, really hard portaling. And I think that there's a chance to do that. And the final team, super crazy Flyers, Oklahoma. If they don't get super hurt and John Mateer, one of the best players in the country, does what he did at Wazoo with a better defense and better group around him, then I think there's definitely a chance there. But that's a super far out one. But that's the top 10. The last 4 are kind of But that's why the odds are so heavy. I guess I could touch on why I don't have some of these teams. Georgia, no quarterback. Alabama, we don't know if they have a quarterback. And it's weird with Alabama. I don't know. I think that if they didn't have the name Alabama, they'd be plus 2,000 instead of plus 1,000. Georgia, just no quarterback. And they don't have the elite enough run game to make up for not having a quarterback, if that makes sense. Like a couple teams that can have a bad quarterback. Like if you even want to look at Michigan in theory when they won the title, right? Super elite defense. They checked every box, every other coordinators, all that stuff, right? But You can argue JJ wasn't the best. I wouldn't ever, but you could. They had an elite run game with Blake Corum. It's that simple, right? They can cover it up. Notre Dame has an elite run game. I don't know how good that defense has been in years past. And CJ Carr, I don't really know what I'm getting from him at all. He was potentially going to lose the job and then suddenly won it. I don't know. We'll see, but I don't really see it from Notre Dame. So that's pretty much why I don't have those three big ones up there. But the rest, that's why I have them up there. So if you agree with this list, please let me know down below. If you agree with it, other people that you think should be here, let me know for sure. I think I would say it's going to be Texas, Penn State, or Clemson. And I'm between Clemson and Penn State. I really am. I know Penn State makes no sense, but if they get a good enough draw like they did last year, it'd be fine. I'm going with Clemson officially to win the title this year. So I might do a Heisman video tomorrow. We'll see about the BCS podcast. Technical difficulties on the half of our good Sparty friend, Zach. But yeah, if not, maybe we'll just do one of me and Cozy. We'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell to know when my videos come out. And thank you all for the support recently. Really does mean the world to me. And yeah, thank you. See you guys next time. Peace.